Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Camp Content, your go-to resource for all things content and revenue in 2024. Joining us today is Steven Tedjamulia, CEO and founder of Social Lift, bringing a deep trove of knowledge with over 25 years of experience in customer-focused strategies and AI technologies. Steven is a true pragmatist in the field, starting his journey in AI at Dell, leading the AI Predictive Science Group, and later establishing Predictive Science, an AI intelligence firm collaborating with major brands on transformative AI strategies. I definitely want to get into that. Throughout his career, Steven has taken startups to over 35 million in revenues, and he holds 14 patents in social selling. Also super curious about that. His insights are notable in the industry thanks to his role as a well-published author, impacting business communities worldwide. At Social Lift, Steven architects AI, advanced AI-driven growth strategies, optimizing market positions, and customer relationships for his client firms. Today, we're going to talk about the role of generative AI plays in building scalable engines for B2B tech companies. We're going to share successful strategies and case studies from his portfolio and provide actionable advice on integrating AI into business growth plans. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. Welcome to the show, Steven.
Oh, thanks for having me here, Molly. I appreciate being part of your Camp Content podcast.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming on. I'm really curious about your background. That's a lot of years talking about this type of technology, which a lot of people feel is a new thing. So I'm sure you have a lot of insight to bring to the table today. So can you give me a little snapshot of Social Lift? What does the company do? How many employees? Where are you located? That kind of thing.
We are located in Rexburg, Idaho, and we provide marketing and sales support as a service. So what we've done is we've taken the different roles in marketing and sales with the different activities they do around digital marketing, strategy, content marketing, outbound sales. We've optimized each one of those processes with AI, and we have resources in the United States that companies can hire, so they can delegate those $10 an hour tasks to these superpower marketers, and they can focus on high value add skills. So it's on demand. You need content marketing, you need sales, you need digital marketing, you need strategy. Come to us. You pay a simple monthly rate. Starts at $1,400, and you get access to resources up to full time that then can help you. And we train those resources. We have a university. So for each one of like podcast, content marketing, training, course creation, podcasting, we train these resources on these skills and certify them so then they can work for your company. It's very, very cool that AI has been able to let us take a marketer, teach them skills, train them, give them the power of AI, and then really boost their productivity to lower the cost for businesses to be able to engage with US-based marketers.
That's amazing. And how many employees do you have?
We have flex of a place right now. We have about 15 people working with us.
That's amazing. And what size businesses are you typically working with? I mean, 1,400 is a pretty low buy-in. It seems pretty, accessible for a lot of businesses. So who is your sweet spot?
We've worked with large companies, and what we've done, because AI has been able to make us a lot more productive. So we provide CMO services, digital strategy services, dashboarding and training to larger companies. There are larger ticket prices for their teams. But then we also serve with our resources to companies who are, they're a technology shop that doesn't have a marketing department to expand. So we provide services for them. And also you have, small business companies, 15 million, who really need to amplify their marketing and sales, but they don't want to hire people full time. So we have a mix, but what we've tried to do is really open up the small and medium business market while still providing high-end services of CMO work.
Can you give me an example of like one of your favorite case studies or success stories of work you've done?
Yeah, we've been able to. This was a project with Oracle where we did account-based marketing targeting for a specific division of theirs, and in the beginning, they could only do generic content because they would have a general message that they would try to send to each customer, and that wasn't scaling. So they worked with Social Lift, and we were able to use AI plus our marketers to augment their teams so that every content was personalized. So
Hmm.
we increased content production speed by 70% and engagement rates by 40% because now the account manager, as they were targeting their clients, instead of some generic piece of content, it was highly specialized to that account. And it was able to boost that engagement rate and lower the cost of production because they were able to have resources and AI letting them do that. Um, so that's one example of something they could do. Another one, we worked with a training company, and they were training people in the United States and had their content only in English, but they wanted to grow to several other countries. So they hired our team. We were able to translate their content, presentations, go to market into Spanish, and that increased their market to all of Latin America in speaking continents. So it gives them opportunity. Those are two examples of how we are able to do that with content. Um, Also with ad work, companies that want to be able
Hmm.
to hire us for digital advertising, we were able to take their, and this was um, from a LinkedIn ad perspective. We were able to take all of their ad content that they were creating and that wasn't performing really well. And then we were able to analyze it, optimize it with AI to better target, and we were able to increase their accuracy by 40% to the right audience, and their spend was reduced by 30% with greater results. So, where they don't have enough manpower to analyze all of their data, create all the ad assets, pay attention to the ad campaign because they have so many tasks on their hands. They were able to allow us to provide those resources to do that. Those are just
I
some
mean,
of the
that makes
examples I share.
Yeah, no, those are great. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. It's really hard to be an expert in all of these things, and then now you got to know how to run ads and read the data. And I would imagine that's very helpful tool. So, talk to me a little bit more about these 14 patents in social selling. I'm very very curious about that. Could you tell me a little more?
Yeah. So when I was at Dell, I ran our digital innovation group. And in that group, Michael Dell had gave me 25 million and said, go dominate digital social. So we had all this money and we had to really foresee where the market was going. At this point in time, social was getting started. Social commerce was like brand new. Um, so we built a lot of products. We've tested. We had a lot of big focus groups. We had a really cool advisory board that included Reid Hoffman from LinkedIn, Sheryl Sandberg, Maynard Webb from eBay, CTO there, Ron Rose, he was CTO at Dell and a CTO at Priceline. And we had like Jim Breyer and Jim Getz from Sequoia and Excel, the venture capital fund. So they would like advise us, plus Michael, on directions we should take. And during that process, we pretty much patent bombed every way that you can make money off social commerce.
Hmm.
So we experimented, we patented the analytics, the affiliate part, the sales part, all of those things. And that's kind of where those patents came from. And that was a foray into getting into predictive analytics. So I had a little group under me that was doing that we funded internal that was doing a lot of predictive analytics work and dashboarding work. And that's where it got started. And from there, the Dell decided they didn't really need that department. They were going to shut it down. And I said, well, can I buy it from you? And I bought it from Dell for 115,000 and then
Oh
transformed
my
it into
god.
a $25 million business. And that's where I realized, and that's what we do at Social Lift. We provide these services, but then for CMOs who really want strategy and for us to analyze their data, that's where I step in, and we have a team of developers and dashboard creators that can then help optimize all the analytics and use AI to then forecast where they need to be, how to improve their content. So that's kind of where, my foray into AI started, from that purchase of the predictive science group from Dell, that then I went on to grow, and we sold into the NFL, Carnival Cruise Lines, VMware, and built a pretty good size uh, um, customer base on the enterprise side, working with some big
Right.
accounts.
I can only imagine. So, and what year was it that you got the 25 million from Dell?
Oh, that was, let me look. I have to look at the exact year. Great question. So this was in, let's see here. I'm going through my,
Steven, I got to tell you, if somebody gave me 25 million, I'd never forget that day. I might tattoo it on
2010.
myself. 20,
Yeah,
all right.
2010. That's when, then 2010 and now. So I've been on that predictive AI, road
A
from
long
then
time.
on. Yeah.
A long time. I saw an article recently about Walgreens being sued for using AI facial recognition and wrongly targeting, of course, minorities and certain people for crime. But it was from 10 years ago, and I just thought to myself, wow, so many of us lay people think a lot of this technology is new, but Walgreens was using this in 2010, and it was probably not new technology then either. So it's kind of we really are quite late to the party. So having said that, you aren't, but having said that, like, what do you think what is the best thing a company could do? Like, if a company wanted to work with you, right? My head is kind of spinning from everything that you just said. If a company wanted to work with you, what like a small business, like my company, like a media company or a podcast production company, how could you really build in and enhance what a smaller business is doing, and what would that cost a smaller company, to work with you in this really robust way?
Yeah, so to get started, our basic package is $14.95 per month. That gives you about 40 hours where we come in, and we can assess. You can access a wide service. Like, we have any from LinkedIn newsletters to sales outreach to email scripting, creating training, creating presentations, inviting podcast speakers, creating your podcast, video editing, partner outreach, account-based marketing, social media. So we train our skills, our individuals, and certify them on all these aspects. And you say, look, this is what I want you to do with these hours. And then you set the plan, and they go out and execute it. And then we have our next plan, which is 20 hours a week, and then full time. So that's the benefit, is that we provide them, the tools, the training. We also educate them on AI, how to use it
Hmm.
appropriately, so that they can, be superpower experts for you, Molly. And these resources are in the United States. We've learned that that helps a lot, um, from a being able to execute. Some of them are offshore, but they are in the background to help out if we need to. But most of them are in the
Hmm.
United States doing the work. So, in your case, if you wanted to say, "Hey, I need more speakers for my podcast," here's someone that can just go out there and look at speakers, can post all your content, social media for you, offset that, create your social account, reach out to a lot of people to get advertisements. Can help you, if you want to do ad campaigns to promote the content in your podcast, or build a landing funnel to convert people. Those are several things they can do, and
Hmm.
can do very effectively for you. And we train them and certify them on those areas.
Who are you doing any work with, like, life coaches or business coaches? I expect, well, life coaches and people in that space, because I feel like they are really lacking all of those tools and resources, and would probably find you wildly helpful in their businesses.
Yeah, we've done some with life coaches, technology, like companies, where there are CTOs, e-commerce companies. So all those companies, we provide them the same benefit we've given like the NFL and Verizon. Now we're taking those
Right.
skill sets to, the business so they can execute at a
Right.
price point that works for them.
I mean, I think it's really amazing, right? Because when you're talking about technology and automations and you can do the same thing for these bigger companies that you're doing for the smaller companies and vice versa. So I really appreciate that you've made it an affordable price point, because for a lot of people these skills are out of reach and would take a long time to get them in house. And so who wouldn't want to hire you with your resume and all the time and experience you've been doing this? It seems like a no-brainer to me. So let me ask you one more question, a future question. What is the number one tool or the number one automation that a small business could do that they would see some results on right away?
I would say a small business learning to use generative AI like ChatGPT wisely across their different
Mm-hmm.
aspects will create a humongous impact. We worked with one company who they were doing podcasts and they were doing one a month, and it would take them a long time to get that done and to reach out to
Mm-hmm.
attendees. And we were able to triple their podcast production capabilities. So all of a sudden they were doing 3, 4, and double the number of attendees because they were using generative AI in the right way and engaging with us. So, if you learn how to do generative AI, I have a whole class that I train enterprises on how to use it effectively. It provides the
Nice.
scripts. It goes through all the content creation, sales processes, and it just helps sales and marketing come together with generative AI.
Yeah.
That helps a lot. But I think that would be the number one tool now. And then we're doing a lot around AI dashboarding, because what we
Mm-hmm.
see is as soon as you start using generative AI, you start collecting a lot of data, and it's really hard to takes time to analyze all of your data, from your website data to your LinkedIn data to your podcasting data, and then triangulate all of that. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
goodness, right? Like you're like, I don't have time, so you just keep moving and you try, and then how do you get the right? How do you make decisions on the data? That's just really hard for one mind to do. But when you have generative AI, it can do so much more for you. So we're really trying to tie all that data together in a dashboard that you can see every morning, and then generative
Mm.
AI can like tell you, oh, this is what you need to do today, right? To double your output and accelerate your revenue. We're far from automating that, but we've been working with companies to get that done. And I think that's the day where in the morning stand up, you review and say, okay, this is what I did yesterday. What can I do better today? Okay, let's adjust. And you have real time adjustments based on plays you're
Yeah.
doing every day.
I love that. I love data. I love looking at all the analytics and the numbers because, it's very informative. Um, and I like being able to see the direct correlation between like, oh, we put out a podcast episode and then the web traffic increased and then we got a discovery, to be able to kind of put all those things together. I mean, even in the podcast space, it's very difficult because there's like, I think maybe there's a couple like Chartable, but I don't even think they're doing it. I don't think anybody has figured out how to like merge all the data, like how many plays did it get on YouTube and how many, streams did it get on Spotify versus how many downloads did it get on Apple. Like there's so many different numbers in there. And so when you're trying to figure out, tell a client what their podcast is doing, it's almost impossible to get real numbers because of that huge spread and all of the information. So I would imagine that dashboarding will really do well.
Yeah, and we've done a lot of merger of data for big companies, but what I think is different, because when you merge all the data, you just have a whole bunch of data that is like, okay, I got it all in front of me. What do I do? And then you hire all these people to go evaluate it. But with generative AI, the cool thing is you feed it all to like ChatGPT, and then it goes out and with the right scripts, it tells you what you should do, and it gives you backing and information, and even writes content for you that you need to produce next.
I
Or
mean,
which is like that to me is a miracle that we didn't have 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's really fascinating stuff. I love the efficiency of it for sure. It's really smart and really helpful. Um, okay, I've got a wild card question for you. If you could deploy an AI solution to solve any global challenge outside of the business world, what would it be?
Um, yeah, that is one of my missions. That's why I started Social Lift. Is there's a lot of countries that don't, and people in those countries that don't have access to jobs and like good jobs, and they're struggling. So we're using AI to create training courses and certifications to certify them and make them more effective. And giving I know, giving 100,000 people, that's our goal, 100,000 people better jobs in third world countries through that would be, it's a mission I have set to do.
That's amazing. How are you? What's the plan? How are you going to get that done?
So we're creating certifications and training for all. So we've identified all the marketing processes that are used and sales processes. We're creating training and certification that they can take. And then we're building out Social Lift where companies can come in and hire us. And we're starting in the United States. But little by little, we're incorporating these other trained people in third world countries that then can do this work as well and become effective with generative AI. So that is our goal, is to really, if they want a career in marketing or sales to help companies around the world, they can work with us, get certified, and use generative AI to be equally skilled as someone here in the US. And then that up levels the game for them in their country, and it lowers the cost for people all around the world from a business perspective. So that's kind of a mission we have, core to what we do at Social Lift, is being able to help the world become better, especially with these people that they're struggling in third world countries. I think the stat is like 1 week of food that we buy in the Western world feeds the rest of the world for a month or something. So
I mean, yeah. It's
uh,
I mean, I can appreciate that. Living in Costa Rica, there are like a lot of call center jobs popping up, but the reality is like Ticos, the Costa Ricans here are like undereducated just because of the way the school system is, and there's no entrepreneurial like, hey, you could just own the company, you could start your own thing. It just doesn't really exist here. It's not really taught or encouraged, and so these people are taking these like call center jobs and they're just dealing with people being angry at them all day. And sure, they're making a little bit of money and going home with it, but like they're not learning anything. They're just learning how entitled and mean Americans are is really what they're learning. But that's not a skill set that's going to help them. And so I love this idea of like, if they can the AI can be a teacher, right? Like they can see how it's being done and they can start to learn and start to put those connect those dots and then start to come out of this with a lot more skills than just answering an angry phone call. And I think people deserve that. People deserve that opportunity to learn that and to understand it and provide a better future for themselves. So I think that's great that you're doing that. I really do.
yeah, so that's just one of the ways the world can benefit. So I enjoyed that question that you asked.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that I asked it. All right, so we have one more segment, and this is where it gets really fun. So hang on to your hat. But this is our real or fake round. So I'm gonna list off some podcast names, and then you are gonna guess whether or not they are real or fake. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. Number one, Unbelievable Futures.
Unbelievable futures, probably real.
It is real. All right.
It's really hard to do because there's so many podcasts nowadays. I bet you someone's taken the name.
There's a lot of ridiculously named podcasts too. All right. Next one is Next Gen Business AI in Action.
Oh, that's a pretty long name. I'd say it's fake.
Man, you're killing me, Steven. Everybody always gets these wrong. Hey, Brian, you gotta put Steven on the screen because I have no poker face. All right. Next one is quantum leap living.
Quantum leap living. That's pretty short. Real.
All right, Steven, we're ending the show. You've gotten them all right. You're taking all the fun out of this. You're supposed to get them wrong. But you're right. You know what's giving
You're
them away
talking
is
to
the
a
length.
brand marketer who's looking at, okay, that could be a name. I guess it's short. People are trying
It's
to take
too
the
long.
shortcut.
I should have shortened the fake ones, and then I would have had you. Well, listen, Steven, thank you for coming on the show today. I really appreciate you taking time. I'm super impressed with everything you've done. I definitely want to continue the conversation with you. I've got some ideas that have been spinning around my head, and you might be the perfect person to talk to about that. But before we go, can you tell people where they can find you and the best way to connect? We'll have all your links in the show notes, of course, but if you want to tell them where they can find you, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, just go to sociallift.com and you can schedule an appointment with me. Just scroll down to the bottom of the page and there's my Calendly link and you can reach out to me, and there's also my phone number and email posted there. So sociallift.com.
Amazing. So I'm sure if anybody's been listening, they are also intrigued by your services and your price points, all very reasonable. So thank you for taking time to come on the show today, Steven. I really appreciate it. And thank you for tuning in today to the podcast Camp Content. A lot of people have been asking about the animated cartoons, and it's because it's summer camp and these are honorary camp counselors. So on that note, I hope you guys are having a fantastic summer, and we will catch you on the next one. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Camp Content. This is Molly.
And this is Matt.
And we are Heartcast Media, aka Camp Content, and we appreciate all of your support. If you found this content valuable, please comment on social media, LinkedIn, wherever you find us, and we will make sure to comment back.
And be sure to go on and subscribe and like on your favorite platforms, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, you name it. Leave us that subscription, leave us that good review.
We'll love you forever. So until next time, be excellent to each other, and we'll see you next week.
Produced by Heartcast Media.
Thank you for tuning into Camp Content, hosted by Heartcast Media. We are a digital content agency focused on content marketing for businesses and brands. If you're looking to save time and be more consistent with your marketing and need a little guidance on what to say and how to say it and where to say it, we got your back. Book a discovery call today and let's talk.